What's up guys, today I explain you why Sarada might have the strongest Mangekyo Sharingan in history. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe this channel. Now have fun with the video.
Sarada Uchiha gaining the power of Mangekyo Sharingan isn't a fan theory. This is something that was Alexa destined to happen in the Boruto series, and more than that, was teased by Ikemoto himself towards the end of part 1. For the longest time, Sarada worked on her regular Sharingan in the Boruto series, and while that was good to see her reach a new level, fans know for a fact that she needed higher powers. This came to Sarada Uchiha in the form of the Mangekyo Sharingan towards the end of Boruto part 1. At the very end of the first part of the story, the omnipotence finally took place, and with that, fans could see the entire world shift. Much to the surprise of everyone, Boruto and Kawaki had changed positions and more lies spread about Boruto Uzumaki having killed Naruto. With that, an elimination order was placed on Naruto. For Sarada Uchiha, all this was too much to take. The shock of Naruto Uzumaki having supposedly died, and then Boruto Uzumaki being targeted and marked for death was enough to trigger a strong emotional response. This powerful and mighty emotional response was great enough for Sarada to finally gain her Mangekyo Sharingan, which is something that the fans desperately wanted to see. Finally, the author gave the fans their first look at this stunning power, and it most certainly didn't disappoint. Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan was seen with a sun pattern, which wasn't a surprise at all, as Kishimoto had already drawn a draft of Sarada with a sun-shaped Mangekyo Sharingan long ago. As for its powers, fans don't know anything yet since Sarada has never used it in combat so far. It also remains unknown as to whether Sarada even knows how to utilize its powers or not, and fans need to wait for her upcoming battles to see how far she's come over the last 3 years. Regardless of whether Sarada Uchiha knows the powers of her Mangekyo Sharingan or not, it is already a given that her Mangekyo Sharingan is going to be one of the most overpowered ones. This is simply down to the fact that the Uchiha clan doesn't work the way it used to right now. For any Uchiha to gain the Mangekyo Sharingan, they must experience an incredibly immense emotion triggered by the loss of a loved one. This part is easy to accomplish, and Sarada has already gone through it in the Boruto series. But for further evolutions, things get more complicated. For instance, in order for Sarada Uchiha to get the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which is absolutely necessary to increase the power of the Sharingan to the next level, and at the same time, manifest a complete Susanoo, she would need the eyes of a sibling or perhaps a close blood relative like Sasuke would work. But that would require killing off Sasuke, and that's highly unlikely to happen in the Boruto series. Taking it one step further, if Sarada is to awaken the power of the Rinnegan, she needs the chakra of Indra and Asura, as well as an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan at its peak to transform it into a Rinnegan. Sarada may have Indra's chakra through Sasuke, but she doesn't have any of Asura's chakra, meaning this power-up too is likely very difficult for her to achieve. This is precisely why Sarada has to reach a very high level just with her Mangekyo Sharingan. And given it's already clear that Sarada will be relative to Boruto Uzumaki and Kawaki at the end of story, and at same time, become the Hokage, she must have very strong powers. Putting two and two together, it is very clear that Sarada Uchiha will have very overpowered Mangekyo Sharingan in story, which will allow to be on same level as those with eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, or perhaps even Rinnegan. This might seem absurd, but one only needs to look at Obito's Mangekyo Sharingan to get the idea. When Kakashi had both of Obito's Mangekyo Sharingan, he was almost unbeatable. Of course, Kakashi had 6 paths chakra running through his body, but his Mangekyo Sharingan themselves were what made him invincible. Something similar could happen for Sarada as well. If the general order of things in the Naruto series is to be considered, then Sarada Uchiha should surpass Sasuke. According to Kakashi, the new generation always surpasses the previous one, and right now, the newer generation has to go one step beyond in order to deal with the threats of the Shinju and the Otsutsuki, among others. As such, Sarada Uchiha absolutely has to get even stronger and, at the very least, hit a level similar to Sasuke Uchiha in order to be able to defend the village properly. She would also be taking over as the Hokage from the likes of Naruto Uzumaki, which means that her strength should not be extremely inferior to his. While Sarada will likely not hit the power level of Naruto with Baryon mode, she should, at the very least, be comparable to Naruto with 6-Path Sage mode. Whether that will happen or not depends on the author. But the way the story is set up, narratively speaking, it is almost guaranteed at this point.